बिकॉज वो कोर्स ले लेते हैं, पिक कर लेते हैं. सपोज इफ आई टेक माई एग्जाम्पल, आई पिक साइबर सिक्योरिटी, बट देन आई से कि मेरे से नहीं हो पा रहा, आई विल ड्रॉप आउट. सो एनी एडवाइस फॉर देम?
सबसे पहली चीज है कि फंडामेंटल. इंडस्ट्री में भी लोग ये बोलते हैं कि जो टूल वाली नॉलेज है वो हम दे देंगे. हमको जो स्टूडेंट चाहिए, वी वांट स्टूडेंट हु हैज फंडामेंटल्स कवर्ड, where they have to focus on more than running after what the current trend is.
Do you know New Zealand is the second most peaceful country to live in the world, and on top of that, it's the first country to have well-being strategy for international students for their support. And out of 139 nations, it ranks among top 10 in terms of creativity. Now, I have given you 3 reasons to choose New Zealand as a study destination. But for the rest of us, let's talk to our today's guest. Hi everyone, welcome to our Thoughtcast. Our today's guest is a senior lecturer at University of Waikato with over 20 plus years of experience in education. Welcome to the show, Dr. Vimal.
Thank you for inviting me. My pleasure to be here.
We are so glad to have you here. And I think our audience will also love to know a little bit about you and your experiences. So can you please tell us something about yourself?
Sure. So I'm a senior lecturer in computer science at the University of Waikato. Work in cybersecurity, obviously primarily research and teaching, but I also do work with the industry, with consulting and things like that. So I've been at the University of Waikato for the last 10 years. I grew up in India. I did my bachelor's degree here. Then I went to the US, did my PhD there, worked there, and then moved to New Zealand in 2015.
Tell us something about the university. Like, what's the flagship program, and like, what are the popular ones जो बच्चे ज़्यादा choose करते हैं, opt करते हैं?
तो कई programs हैं हमारे, and I'm presuming you're talking about the postgraduate programs. So obviously undergraduate programs bhi hain,
right.
But let me talk about the postgraduate programs. So postgraduate programs, we have a variety of programs. We have some programs that are more focused. We have some programs that are more general. So we have more broad general programs like Masters of Information Technology. Then we have Masters of Science. So those are our general programs. Focused programs we have, especially if you look at the industry right now, the need in the industry right now, you'll see AI hai, ya cybersecurity hai, and we understand that, and our strengths are in that area. So we offer a cybersecurity master, so Masters of Cybersecurity, and we offer a Master of Science in AI.
Okay, so speaking of that, if I ask why should a student pursue masters in computer science or AI from University of Waikato and not any other university, and what are the job prospects after that?
Right. So definitely if you look at AI or if you look at cybersecurity, the job prospects are certainly out there. The opportunities are out there at the moment. Anywhere in the world you go, आप इंडिया में देख लो या आप यूएस में देख लो, आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया में देख लो या आप न्यूजीलैंड में देख लो, that's the skill that the industry wants. So obviously if you have those skills, it becomes it creates a pathway for you towards a job. Now Waikato has particular strengths in AI and cybersecurity. अगर हम AI की बात करें तो from the last 5 to 10 years you'll see people are talking about AI. Everyone
Right.
is talking about AI. हर चीज में AI है.
Right.
But AI at Waikato has a long history. In terms of computer science as a whole, our school, the School of Computing and Mathematical Sciences at Waikato, is 50 years old. So we have a long and rich history. In fact, our school was instrumental back in the 1980s in getting internet to New Zealand. So
Okay.
University of Waikato was the first place in New Zealand that was connected with internet to the wider world. So the people who were at the University of Waikato in our school, the academic staff, they worked on that. So we have that long and rich history in computing in general, in research, in teaching, and we've been doing it for a long time. AI की अगर बात करें तो at Waikato we have our experts who've been doing AI for the last 30 years. Other places it's new. People have started because it's in demand. But we have been doing things in AI and machine learning for the last 30 years. We have experts, we have professors who've been there and who've been working in that area for so many years. We have tools like Veka और MOA. कई students होंगे जिन्होंने Veka और MOA use किया होगा if they have learnt any kind of machine learning or data science, and they would recognize those tools. Where have those tools come from? They have come from our school, our department. Thousands and millions of people all over the world use those tools. And if you study AI in Waikato, you're going to work and study from the people who created that tool.
Right. That's something wonderful.
That's something amazing. And
Right.
similarly with अगर cybersecurity की बात करें, so I teach cybersecurity, I work in cybersecurity. हमारा जो program है Masters of Cybersecurity, it is the oldest postgraduate cybersecurity program in New Zealand. And तो उसकी वजह से हमारे जो past students हैं, alumni हैं, so we have our alumni sort of in everywhere, sort of in every almost every organization that does security in New Zealand, and that gives us a reputation. If you look for cybersecurity in New Zealand, you want to study cybersecurity in New Zealand, you'll always see University of Waikato there because our reputation is good. And if you go out there, you say in New Zealand you want to do cybersecurity postgraduate. Where do you do it from? You do it from Waikato.
So that's how popular University of Waikato is
Yes.
in New Zealand in terms of cybersecurity and computer science, right?
Yes.
All right. So since इतना experience है, इतना आप connected हैं बच्चों से, students से, and the job market as well. So what is the popularity of AI and cyber security job market में क्या popularity है इसकी? कितना बच्चों में कितना popular है ये?
So बच्चों में तो obviously काफ़ी popular है. जैसे अगर trends की बात करें तो कई बार ऐसा होता है कि people go after the trends, and AI है या cyber security हो गया. What I see from my position is that students should focus on fundamentals. Okay.
Right.
And fundamentals are what the industry wants, because tools and trends can be learnt easily, but fundamentals are hard to learn. Right. So मेरी एडवाइस जो है वो किसी को भी हो, चाहे मेरे खुद के स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो मैं सुपरवाइज कर रहा हूँ, या कोई भी मुझसे आके पूछेगा, तो मेरी एडवाइस यही होती है कि हमेशा फोकस ऑन द फंडामेंटल्स. अगर आप फंडामेंटल्स नहीं कर पाओगे तो आप यू कांट बिल्ड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट. सो जो नींव होती है जो कहते हैं वो सॉलिड होनी चाहिए. ऑब्वियसली अगर AI जैसे है, AI is, you can say it's a trend, but it is here to stay. Right. So उस हिसाब से डेफिनेटली आप चाहे साइबर की बात करें, साइबर सिक्योरिटी की बात करें, या कंप्यूटर साइंस की बात करें, या किसी भी चीज़ की बात करें, आज कल और इन द फ्यूचर, दैट इज़ द स्किल दैट पीपल आर गोइंग टू लुक फॉर. That is the skill that would be needed at the level of tools and tool chains. So what kind of tools are out there, and do you know how to use the tools? But even more important than that would be the knowledge of developing AI models, the in-depth knowledge, right? And that kind of in-depth knowledge will come when you build upon your fundamentals and go for a focused sort of a degree. Or, well, not necessarily have to be focused, but a degree that gives you that fundamental knowledge of creating those models and applying those models in all the other areas.
All right. So there's this one question I really want to ask, since we have the senior lecturer from University of Waikato in like the computer science field. So I really want to ask, there's a constant fear going on ki AI will take over and everything. So should we be worried about it? I think it will be more genuine coming from you. लोगों को अच्छा लगेगा कि ठीक है, there's someone who really knows about it is speaking about it. So
look, AI is a tool. By itself, AI is not going to take over. It's not like a robot will come and the robot will take over. But in having said that, it's a tool it's a very powerful tool, right? And it depends on how someone uses it, right? So जैसे ChatGPT की बात करें तो lot of people are looking at OpenAI, who created ChatGPT, and that's where ethics become really important. अगर आप governments की बात करें, AI is very powerful. How does the government intend to use it? Are they going to use it for the benefit of the people? Government have that tool. Government have a lot of data. Governments have a lot of data. How do they intend to use it? So it's a very, very powerful tool, and but it's not going to work itself. It will work the way its owner wants it to work.
True.
So that's where ethics and governance become really important, more than the tool itself.
Right.
Yeah.
True. So now coming back to the university, how is the student life there? I mean, and what should a student should expect, like if they are choosing the Waikato University as their, study destination or study option?
Right. So अगर campus की बात करें
हाँ
तो
जी.
we have a large campus. It's a very beautiful campus. It's stunning, and people, at least I can say this about myself, कि it you feel like going to the university because it's just so beautiful. उसके अलावा, yeah, it's a big campus, and we have a lot of clubs that the students can get into and sort of make connections and networks and find other people. We also have a lot of sports facilities. So something that particularly students from India like to do is play cricket. So we have a cricket team, and not one, but we have the club, which has multiple cricket teams, and based on the skill level, and students can sort of join those teams. And many of my own students, in fact, I myself was in the team when
Wow.
one of the teams when I had time. So plenty of opportunities for recreation, gym and everything else as well. Accommodation वगैरह देखें तो there is student accommodation on campus. There's also accommodation available around the university that students can flat with other people. So that's that. Now, Hamilton, comparatively, if you look at cost of living, then the cost of living in Hamilton is slightly lower than compared to, let's say, Auckland or Wellington.
Right.
So that's there.
So it sounds very vibrant there.
It's a small city. It's
Right.
definitely a small city, and then it doesn't have. It's not a big city. It doesn't. You can't say it's a big city. It doesn't have the big city feel, but also doesn't have big city problems, right? So
Right.
you're not stuck in traffic, and all that. Big city problems are not there. But having said that, Auckland, अगर आपको Auckland जाना है तो it's an hour and a half. There is bus, there is a train that you can take, or if you get a car, you can obviously drive. There are two beaches. Hamilton doesn't have a beach, but there's a beach on the west coast, which is about 45 minutes. There's a beach on the east coast, which is about 1 hour 15 minutes. So Hamilton is very central to a lot of places. So opportunities to explore, especially if you are an outdoor kind of a person. New Zealand in general has a lot of opportunities for people who want to explore the outdoors. और जैसे मैंने बोला कि Hamilton is quite central.
Right.
So Raglan is on one side, Tauranga is on the other side. Where Auckland is an hour and a half, less than an hour and a half away. 45 minutes away, you have Rotorua. So there's Lake Rotorua, and you have the Taupo, which is about 2.5 hours. So that's or 3 hours. So you winters वगैरह में there's ski there. Summers में it's all quite pleasant and mountainous. So overall, that is the kind of location. Having said that, it's quite vibrant when the students are there, but it is a small city.
So there's a lot of things to keep you occupied there.
I think there should be plenty of things to keep you occupied.
Right. So we all agree that skills are very important. Like they are the utmost important thing. But graduating from a good university does give a little upper hand. So क्या Waikato University वो edge provide करती है students को?
Definitely. If you look at our rankings, we are QS rank 235. Which places us in top 3 universities in New Zealand. In terms of research, we are number one in New Zealand. In terms of sustainability rankings, we're quite high. So overall, Waikato University has a good reputation in the market. And then there are certain programs, जैसे cybersecurity हो गया या AI हो गया. On the other hand, business school की बात करें तो MBM हो गया. So those are the programs that Waikato University is more known for. So if you come into that, a program like that, then you benefit from that reputation.
Right. And students also talk a lot of things about, aids and scholarship or financial issues, because financial issue भी एक बहुत बड़ा aspect होता है
Yeah.
study abroad के बारे में जब बच्चे बात करते हैं तो. So what are the benefits they can get from Waikato University?
Something that many universities do, but in particular Waikato University has this Vice Chancellor's Excellence Scholarship for India.
Okay.
तो उसमें students can get up to $15,000 of scholarship, which is applied to their tuition, and that equates to about 7.5 lakh. But that's a purely merit-based scholarship.
Okay.
So when students apply, they are going to be ranked in the pool, and based on their rank in the pool, they get किसी को अगर if you're ranked highly, you can get 7 to 7.5 lakhs. Below that, you can get maybe 5 lakhs. Below that, maybe you can get 2.5 lakhs. And if you're not in those sort of candidates, then it may happen that you don't get anything. But for good meritorious students, you have the scholarship.
Right.
Once you are there are a few scholarships that you can apply for, but depending on, and those are very specific to the school that you are in. If you are in cybersecurity, there may be a scholarship that you can apply for, but those are extremely competitive, not a lot in number. So I don't want to talk about those as much, but this Vice Chancellor's Excellence Scholarship is available to everyone.
Yeah. But it's merit-based.
It's merit-based. Okay. So there's excellence scholarship specifically for India. So you can apply for that. It is for postgraduate students. It is for undergraduate students, for everyone.
That's wonderful. Great then. So now let's talk about New Zealand. बहुत लोग प्रेफर करते हैं, लोग लाइक नोन नेम्स हमारे पास यूके, कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यूएसए यही होता है. Why should a student should go to New Zealand and not these traditional destinations?
Right. New Zealand as a country is unique. I grew up in India. मैं US में रहा हूँ, मैं New Zealand में रहा हूँ, and I have seen a number of other countries in the world. And in my experience, New Zealand is quite unique. अगर आप rankings वगैरह देखें तो I think on the Peace Index it's number 4 in the world.
Right.
And so it's a very peaceful country. There was a survey of students. तो उसमें पूछा गया कि what do you feel, international students who come to the country, what do you feel about New Zealand? And the biggest responses are कि peaceful country है, welcoming है, diverse है, and obviously a natural beauty. It's a stunning, it's a really good place to live, clean air, and all that. So if you look at the programs, if you look at the universities, all our universities are highly ranked universities.
Right.
Obviously I am from Waikato, but अगर आप किसी भी university में जाते हो, they're all highly ranked. They're all in top 3% in the world. So you can't go wrong if you go to a university in New Zealand. उसके अलावा we focus very heavily on sustainability. Sustainability is a big aspect of New Zealand's sort of overall outlook on life itself. So sustainability के हिसाब से in the future sort of generations के हिसाब से that's we all rank very highly in that aspect. So I think that is what sets us apart, that New Zealand is a very peaceful country compared to many other places. There was a survey recently about the employability of the graduates and New Zealand in the OECD countries, and New Zealand ranked 7th on the list, ahead of US and UK and Canada.
That's good.
So the education that you're getting in New Zealand, as I said, because all the universities are highly ranked, so the education that you're getting in any university in New Zealand is good.
Right. Since whenever a student plan to go, any of the abroad countries, so that the first thing that crosses their mind is कि वहाँ पे job opportunities क्या है, पढ़ तो लूँगा, जॉब मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा वहाँ पे, करियर बना पाऊंगा कि नहीं. So what about New Zealand? Like, how's the job market there? Is it promising for students there? क्या ट्रेंड चल रहा है वहाँ पे?
हाँ, तो जॉब्स के हिसाब से obviously there are, it's not, you can't say in general for everything. There are obviously programs that are more sought after than others, right? So for example, हम पहले बात कर रहे थे साइबर सिक्योरिटी की बात कर रहे थे, AI की बात कर रहे थे. So those are the kind of skills that are, as you can say, in trend right now. And अगर आप जॉब्स वगैरह भी देखें, अगर आप जॉब सर्च वेबसाइट्स पे जाएं, तो those are the skills that people are looking for, right? But it's also program specific. अगर आप Waikato में MBM का प्रोग्राम देखें, तो you find those, you see that those jobs are available. But again, you can't just in general say that jobs are available for everyone. No, the skills that you gain from the education are what get you the job at the end, and that's where those trends come in sometimes. Cybersecurity ho gaya ya AI ho gaya. So if you acquire those skills, then those are the kind of jobs that we see in the market.
So since you have involved with students from a very long time, काफी time से आप बच्चों के साथ हैं, so what are the common mistakes they do, like while picking up any course or something? Because वो कोर्स ले लेते हैं, पिक कर लेते हैं. सपोज इफ आई टेक माई एग्जाम्पल, आई विल पिक साइबर सिक्योरिटी, बट देन आई विल से कि मेरे से नहीं हो पा रहा, आई विल ड्रॉप आउट. सो एनी एडवाइस, एनी पीस ऑफ एडवाइस फॉर देम स्टार्टिंग से ही, दैट वो सही करेक्ट कोर्स अपने लिए चूज कर सके?
देयर आर 3 पॉइंट्स आई विल टॉक अबाउट. सबसे पहली चीज है कि फंडामेंटल्स, जो मैंने पहले भी बोला था, कि इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू फोकस ऑन द फंडामेंटल्स जो जनरली कॉलेजेस में, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में सेकेंड ईयर में पढ़ाए जाते हैं. दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, मोर देन रनिंग आफ्टर सम ट्रेंड, right? So it's very important that you cover the fundamentals. Even when I talk to people in the industry, right? इंडस्ट्री में भी लोग ये बोलते हैं कि जो टूल वाली नॉलेज है वो हम दे देंगे, हमको जो स्टूडेंट चाहिए, वी वांट स्टूडेंट हु हैज फंडामेंटल्स कवर्ड. ऊपर की नॉलेज दे कैन लर्न ऑन द जॉब, राइट? दैट्स फाइन. साइबर सिक्योरिटी हो गया या AI हो गया या कुछ भी हो गया, ऊपर की नॉलेज वो दे देंगे, बट द फंडामेंटल्स हैव टू बी स्ट्रॉन्ग.
True.
So sometimes students, that's a mistake that they make, and they have to be told that at a very early stage in their education, that that's where they have to focus on, more than running after what the current trend is, right? And then also it is very important to have an aptitude, एक motivation जिसे कह सकते हैं, फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया, राइट? सो अगर आप बोलो कि हाँ कुछ करना है मुझे, बट आई एम नॉट श्योर, साइबर सिक्योरिटी बहुत चल रहा है तो मैं कर लेती हूँ, दैट वुड बी नॉट, आई वोंट रेकमेंड दैट अप्रोच, बिकॉज व्हेन यू डू दैट यू गेट इनटू दैट प्रॉब्लम वेयर यू वर सेइंग कि आफ्टर डूइंग इट फॉर सम टाइम you realize that this is too hard or it's not for me. Sometimes people realize that after they get a job, they will get a job, and then they realize, no, this is not what I want to do in my life. Then they have to then do something else, right? So that's another problem that students face, and my advice is to go for a specialization if you have your heart set on it. अगर आपकी motivation है, तो अगर कोर्स हार्ड भी है, then you will still like doing it, right? बट अगर मोटिवेशन नहीं है तो इट बिकम्स अ पेन. करना है बस, कैसे करके बस ये निकाल लूँ, बाद में देखूंगा या बाद में देखूंगी, ठीक है? सो दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम. So go for something that you really want to do. And if you're not sure, then don't choose a specialization. Then go for a more general sort of a degree, MSc या M Infotech, right? That will probably be better for you than going for a specialization because it's a trend, and then not liking it or not doing it properly.
Right. So what's the benefit of choosing a generic, like you mentioned, MSc and the others?
Yeah.
So what's the benefit of choosing that if you are suggesting that not to go for a specialized degree?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying no, don't go for a
Like if you're
specialized
not
degree.
if you're not clear on that.
If you're not clear, then
Right.
go for a broader degree.
Right.
Definitely in Waikato, and I'm sure this would be the case in many universities where they're in a broader degree, like जैसे MSc है Waikato में या M Infotech है, you have the flexibility of choosing a lot of your electives. और specialized degrees में वो electives कम हो जाते हैं because mostly it's a prescribed program. Because you are free to choose the electives, you can create your own degree, right? So बाद में आपको समझ में आए कि आज तो मुझे साइबर सिक्योरिटी अच्छा लग रहा था मगर कल मुझे AI अच्छा लगेगा या लगा, तो you still have the flexibility of choosing the subjects that you want, right?
You'll have the room to explore.
Yeah, so that's the benefit of a broader degree.
Right.
But having said that, it's always good when if you not at an early stage you can find out what your specialization is, because that allows you to then go deeper and deeper into it, but you also need to have that motivation for that, right? So अगर आप अपना जो है set कर चुके हैं and you like that area, then definitely go for a specialization than a broader degree. But agar nahi hai, to probably better to do a broader degree. Okay, so that would be something I would say.
That's a very wonderful advice, and I think everyone should follow it.
Yeah.
So
there was a third point.
Right.
The third point is that do your research. India's education system is very different. Mostly, I cannot make a generalized statement about every university and college, but mostly it's very different from the education systems, especially at good universities across the world,
Right.
where a lot of times the focus of the assessment can be can be more on the implementation and practical aspects of things. कई बार अगर हम assessments की बात करें तो इंडिया में होता है कि you're mugging up the definitions and you're mugging up the concepts and you're writing about them in the exam. Or when you have an assignment, your assignment is mostly just writing about something. But when students go abroad, that's a big shock that they get.
Right.
That they are thinking कि हाँ भाई assignment due है, assignment कर लेंगे हम जो है last 2 दिन में. फिर assignment due होती है, तो then when they start reading it, they realize that this is not 2 days job.
Right.
They were given 3 weeks for the assignment, and it will take 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah. Right. So it's more skill based or practical based.
So it's more practical, hands on. Not generally, but कई बार ऐसा होता है, especially the course that I convene, cybersecurity masters, we definitely try to do that. And so it's important to have that difference in mind so that when you go there, you give yourself time to do those things and therefore excel, right? Doing things at the last moment. And I'm not faulting the students for it, because a lot of times they go in and they don't know.
Right.
So it's very important to do that research, what you're going to get there. And obviously this podcast series is a part of that research that they will have to do.
And I think it's going to help a lot of students out there. Yeah. So talking about India, we can say that IT is something that is very popular in India. So and you have been dealing with students, so आपने बहुत सारे Indian students भी देखे होंगे, न्यूजीलैंड में जो पढ़ने जाते हैं. So is it popular there as well among Indian students? Like, is it the most popular if I ask in that way?
Yeah. So one of the things about New Zealand is that obviously जितनी भी universities हैं, they offer some of the same sort of courses, IT हो गया या business हो गया. But having said that, every university also has a particular niche.
Right.
Okay? So अगर जैसे वाइकाटो की बात करें तो we excel in business. So we have the Master of Business Management,
Right.
and then we have the Master of Information Technology, Master of Cybersecurity. So those are the qualifications that we excel at. And in our university, the biggest enrollments are in business management, Masters of Business Management, and uske baad fir Masters of Information Technology. So yes, we do see a very good number of Indian students in our program, and Master of Cybersecurity is also very popular.
Right. So for our final part, if I'll have to ask for any sort of advice for students who are planning to, or who are aiming to secure a spot in New Zealand, any university in New Zealand or University of Waikato, and for the parents, since their main concern is their child's safety, what would it be?
So in terms of safety, definitely, as I said before, New Zealand is a safe country. It's a peaceful country. So if you're choosing New Zealand for education, then you can rest assured on that aspect. Right? My advice for anyone who is applying would be, or thinking of applying, would be to apply early and get everything in order as early as you can, because there are a lot of variables.
Right.
Lot of variables with admissions, and a lot of variables with documentation that you have to collect, and obviously for visa and everything. One of the things that we see is when students apply late, they get late visa.
Right.
They join late, and going to a new country is a big shock.
True.
Right? Going to a new country is a big shock, and it could be any country. Combined, if you just arrive on the first day of classes, एक तो पहले जो है नए कंट्री का शॉक, फिर उसके बाद नए एजुकेशन सिस्टम का शॉक. You're not familiar with how the whole thing will work. You have to in many places, in many colleges in India, you just go to a classroom and that's your classroom. But that's not the case if you go somewhere else. You are moving from one room to another room to another room. All of that is very different, right? So you're going from one system to a very different system. So you need to give yourself the time to acclimatize to that system. You need to give yourself time to adjust to the temperature so you don't fall sick or something. And then उसके बाद आपके assessments वगैरह हैं, assignments वगैरह हैं, lectures वगैरह हैं, everything is very different, right? So you need to prepare early, and you need to come there early, and you have to sort out your accommodation and everything else as well, bank accounts and stuff like that.
True.
So my advice would be that you come a little early, you start early, come there just a little early to set everything up. And that is only possible if you start early.
Right.
Because otherwise क्या होता है कि when students come at the last moment, then पहला हफ्ता, दूसरा हफ्ता ऐसे ही निकल गया सब कुछ सेटअप करने में. और that then has an effect that वो पूरा का पूरा semester जो है, then they become 2 weeks behind.
True.
That's not really good. And we try to help the students. We understand this problem. We try to help the students. But once you are behind, it is very hard to cover, because you already have to learn everything that's new, and then you also have to cover the stuff that you didn't cover.
Right.
So पहले ही काफी सब कुछ नया है, and then you add other things on top of it, so it can become really challenging. So my advice would be to start early, and once everything is done, come early there as well.
Right, that's a very I think that's a very good piece of advice. Like, start early so that you can manage all your stuff early, and all the visa things and documentation and all sort of things, even the course, as you mentioned. What is the most popular club at University of Waikato for students? Yeah, among students.
I am not a student, so I don't know what students are looking for. I think you can see with my hair, I'm getting old. Cricket is quite popular. Cricket is quite popular. I would say, from what I know. And on campus at Waikato, we have a club, and the club plays in the Hamilton League. And they have multiple teams based on your skill level. So there's a Prems team, A, B, C, and they play all types of games. They play test matches on the weekends. They play 50-over matches. They play T20 matches. They play 10-over matches. So whatever you want to do in cricket, you can do that. You have practice nets and everything. So if you want to play cricket, and if that's yeah, if that's what you want to do, really good. And a lot of students do that. One of the students that I was supervising, he was actually a local student था वो. So he did his bachelor's of engineering, software engineering, and he was also very good at cricket. In fact, he was the captain of the Prems team. So
Oh.
if you're good at the Prems team, then you get to play at the in the first class level. And he was quite seriously good. So he went to play county cricket in UK. So that's so obviously that's a very high skill level.
Yeah.
But there are opportunities for every skill level. So the Prems team A, B, and C.
Right.
So yeah, and that's just in the university. But even outside the university, there are lots of clubs that you can join. People make their own groups and play. We have the recreation center, so people go to gym, and badminton is quite popular. So people sort of get together and play badminton. So badminton, again, we have courts within the university, outside the university. So all that, I think, is very popular. But what kind of clubs people are going to, I don't know. I'm getting old.
Well, cricket is quite popular here in India as well, as I think you already know. So I think Indian students will be able to relate to that more. So thank you so much, Dr. Vimal, for giving us your time and answering all these questions. It was a really insightful session with you.
Thank you for having me. It was really good chatting with you. And yeah, my pleasure to be here.
Hope this episode helps you. And if you have any question related to University of Waikato, please feel free to reach out to AECC. And we are here to help and happy to help. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this episode, give it a like.